You're listening to 91 Reasons, a journey into the twisted landscape of pop culture. Keep your hands and arms inside the podcast at all times. And now, the voice, Jeff Tucker.
Hello and welcome to yet another, special. I'm not even going to say special. I'm just going to say welcome to Homestuck episode 91 Reasons.
They're all special when your guys are here. They're all special. Episode, do you know what number episode we're on?
See, no, I don't. It's just countless at this point. There's so many.
It's episode 2000 of our Homestuck series.
Yes, yeah, another special episode, 2000.
No.
Jeff has finished watching Homestuck Act 1031.
That's right. No, it's episode 25. Welcome to 91 Reasons. I am the voice. I am Jeff Tucker. I am joined, as always, by our resident Homestuck experts.
Austin?
Luna?
Now, should we modify that because you're not just Homestuck experts, you're Andrew Hussey experts?
Yeah.
Is that more like, I don't listen, folks, you don't know what I go through on a daily basis. It doesn't matter what I talk to them about, what the topic is, what the question is. Somehow they will make it about Andrew Hussey. Mm-hmm. I was talking about Mad Max. And all you did was tell me about how Andrew Hussey went to it with his wife.
Yeah.
And you went on and on and on.
Yeah, it was spotted at the movie theater watching it.
Where?
Somewhere in Boston, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Northern Massachusetts.
Hussey said that the comic had to take a one-day hiatus due to some very important stuff. He won't be in town. We immediately thought, hive swap. But
And instead it was Mad Max, because now he's shiny and chrome and headed to Valhalla. Okay, well listen. We want to thank Patreon pledger Vriska for continuing to support us with some amazing contributions. And to thank Vriska, I finally finished Homestuck Act 2, which is it's about 6 hours, right?
Yeah, you're like, what is it, 10% into the comic now?
Yeah.
But
math adds up.
this is the point we get hooked. This is it. This is
This
the
is
moment
it?
where everything changes.
Because I'll tell you, I have no idea to this day what's going on, because nothing happens in this act
all
except that he manages to figure out how to create different items by combining items,
Yes.
like in Resident Evil, like we talked about before. And did I miss something? Like that's the main crux of what happened, right?
Well, the Wayward Vagabond.
The Wayward Vagabond made a town out of cans, proclaimed himself mayor, and then what? And then took off?
Lost happened.
Yeah.
The countdown began. He found the map on the back of the tube, and then he hit a button, and then it launched it around, and it brought him to a spot of an island, where an island was millions of years ago.
Does any of this pay off later, or is this it?
This is the whole plot. This is it. No, like, this is all... Well, it almost like it's a cycle. Things keep paying off
It's a
themselves
cycle,
over
huh?
and over again.
You're not answering my... Mr. Senator, I will ask you again. Mr. Senator.
By the first few minutes of Act 3, you will see why the island exists and why WV's there in the future. But also, 10,000 pages from then, it'll still be important.
No.
It'll be
You're
a key location.
Mr. Senator, you're dodging the question. Mr. Senator. You're saying that in the Act 3 we're going to get the payoff for something that just happened. That's fine and all, that we're going to get a Wayward Vagabond payoff. But I just spent 4 hours watching some guy bumble around his house making a hammer with a Ghostbusters ghost on it. Is that going to pay off?
Well, yes, because notice how in the beginning of Act 2, you say you manually enter the command every time, John, collecting grist. By the end, you just assume he always has grist on hand. He always has. It's not a problem anymore.
Yeah, and what is grist?
That's what he uses to pay for alchemy and building stuff in the game.
I'm aware of what it is. How does he get it? He just has it. What?
You kill the imps and they
You
drop
kill
it.
the imps and they like in a video
it's
game.
a loot.
They turn into coins.
So it used to be Rose, we only have 2 grist left. We better keep it cautiously. But now you just assume he always has grist.
Yeah, well,
alchemy works the same way. Right now, it's 20 pages to make one hammer. By the end of the comic, he'll have this awesome sword, and you'll say, "Oh, he must have alchemized that off screen. We got it."
Right.
Good.
Well,
got a cool weapon.
that's a screenwriting thing, because if you set up a story, you only have to show the guy going to work once. If the story is not about him at work, it's about him at home, you show him going to work once, and then the audience knows, okay, that's where he goes to work. We don't have to dwell on it unless it's part of the plot.
Yeah.
So I get all that. I still don't understand where this story is going, what the plot is, and after so many hours of watching it, you'd think I'd have a vague idea what the plot is, and I still don't know other than these kids got a beta game of Scrub.
They gotta beat the video game.
And they gotta beat the video game, but somehow they're living it.
Well, yeah, that you said just go with it.
I just have to go with
They
it.
live the game, yeah.
He just says, go with it.
Nana said it herself. Nana said the game was nothing but a mere transportation to a land known as the Medium. A place enshrouded in pure darkness, but also
Yeah.
pure good.
You have to win the game to claim the ultimate reward.
So, Nana said it himself. The video game teleported John to this realm full of imps, full of different planets,
Yeah.
and he must climb the 7 gates to earn the ultimate reward.
Which is what? What is the ultimate reward?
We don't know yet.
We don't know.
You don't know. Is it a lifetime
We have-
supply of chocolate?
They all,
We have vague ideas of very mythical lore surrounding the reward. We haven't actually seen what happens when someone gets it.
Well, that's like playing a game and not knowing what the prize is. Would you play a claw machine in the dark? No, you wouldn't.
You do learn what the prize is pretty early on, and I think it's in Act 4. They
Wait. So you do know what the prize is?
We know what the prize is, but it's more of a metaphorical thing than a literal thing. So we don't know. There's different ways to how Hussey's going to interpret it in Act 7 when he gets to it.
Act 7, huh?
Act 7 is low page count epilogue of them getting the reward and what their life is like after.
I don't quite understand, Rose, what the reward's going to be. You don't quite understand what the reward's going to be, but you continue to play for it anyway.
well, he even said to Jade in the act you
It's
just
the
read.
ultimate reward.
It's the ultimate reward. You're playing for the ultimate reward.
He even said at the end of Act 2, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be saving the world. I don't really know what I'm doing.
Nana said the key is not to save the world. It's to save much more than that.
All right, well...
What do you think, as a whole?
I told you what I think.
Are you hooked, though?
No.
Like, the ending animation, where WV flies off, the music starts playing, you see Dave and Will on the rooftop.
The Magic Castle. This is your type of thing.
No, and the Magic Castle was somehow in New Orleans, and Harry Anderson really cut somebody's finger off. That's not the Harry Anderson I knew and grew up with. He would never do that.
His ace in the whole trick is how John learned alchemy.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
See, it all ties into the plot, though. Like, at the beginning, John takes out the Harry Anderson book in his magic chest. You go, oh, that's not going to be important. He's just messing around with things. Here we go. Harry Anderson payoff. See?
Oh, I know. It's great, right? Harry Anderson payoff.
Yeah.
You guys have never watched Night Court?
No.
You've never seen him on SNL do his magic act?
No.
No, he just... No. He's a Homestuck character.
Yeah, he's a Homestuck
He's not a
character.
real person.
There's theories that Harry Anderson is John's grandpa.
Well, that would explain what the fedora, the
Yeah.
magic, the imp.
It was Nana, when she was alive, got with Anderson. That's where Dad came from.
Oh my god.
John came from other shenanigans you'll see in Act 4.
It's the whole plot of Act 4.
Yeah, the whole plot of Act 4 is
But you
how
have to
the
get through
kids
Act
were
3
born.
first. That's the last act of setup,
Yeah.
really, before the real plot starts
Before
kicking
it really
in.
kicks in, before it really gets going.
Yeah, and then Act 5 is a reboot and it starts slow again.
Yeah.
Because Homestuck's broken into parts. Every part, you go back to the introduction page of you stand in your room and blah, blah, blah.
Well, this I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, listeners of 91 Reasons, the podcast, is proof positive that the youth of today are not losing their attention spans. Because the idea that you guys hung on to this as long as you did with nothing happen. Now, I know you're going to say, that's only 1 days of reading. I've heard it.
Yeah.
I've heard it. I've heard it. It doesn't matter if it's 1 day of reading. What if I'm a slow reader? What if it takes 6 weeks and nothing happens? You're saying that the Homestuck fan base hangs on no matter what.
You're roughly about, what, five months into the comic now of when it was running in real time?
How many pages?
Well, how many pages is he at? I think you're almost at a solid
But it
1,000.
doesn't matter because it's not real prose anyways. It's not like a novel.
No, it's the second longest work in the English language, pretty close.
It's a
So
narrated,
up there.
but it's narrated.
Yeah,
Like
there's-
a page in War and Peace is not equal to a page in Homestuck.
No.
They're not the
Page
same
Homestuck could be
medium.
one image and you just click the next button.
Yeah, that's totally
no.
different.
But the thing is, with the acts...
It's like wait, now let's slow down. Let's rest.
However-
We're gonna rest a minute and look at this picture.
Because of a lot of content-heavy pages where it's like one still image and then a wall of text. We just hit page 7,500 of Homestuck, and Word 750,000 of Homestuck. So it still balances.
And you guys have told me you skip over a whole bunch of it. Have you ever gone back and read the parts you skipped over?
We've read the whole thing.
I went through all of Rose's Game Facts walkthroughs and all of John's. I went back and read through all of that.
How many? You read 750,000 words.
I went back for the Game Facts walkthroughs. I went back for Harry Anderson.
Mr. Senator, you're not answering the question. Did you read all 750,000 words?
Yes.
You did?
Even some of the memos that get really, really, really long, and I'm talking 5 or 6 novel pages.
So you read it? You read it all?
Yes.
You did all of it?
Yes, I haven't read.
Okay, that's 3 times. That's 3 times you said that you read it all.
But,
just like in Fight Club, you read it 3 times. Let me ask you another question. Have you read my novels? The novels your father has written.
I read the first one.
You read the first one.
I read the first one.
Yeah, that's great.
We drafted the second.
See, ladies and gentlemen, he's read 9,000 hours of Homestuck. He can recite it word for word.
I know a lot of quotes. Yeah. I don't know if I count, though, because even though I went through all of Problem Sleuth and all of Jailbreak and Bardcrest and the old blorbs, I have not read through Whistles and Wizardy Hobart, which I need to.
How dare you?
I know what they're about.
I have read them both, and they're amazing.
I know all about them. I know the plot. I know...
I have them bookmarked. I'll send them to you.
So what you're saying is you've read all of Harry Potter, but not the Tales of Beedle the Bob, and you call yourself a fan.
Wizardy Herbert is a 200-page actual novel.
Yeah, and here's the thing, though. I know Wizardy Herbert. I know what it's about. I know its ending, and I know that it's possibly the ending of Homestuck. But I've tried reading it, and it is beyond terrible.
No, it's amazing.
I didn't like it.
Hussey's writing only works in the small doses of narration below panels.
Your opinions couldn't be more different. Yeah. He says it's terrible. You say it's great.
Hussey has a really unique writing style. He uses all these confusing words for no reason. It just overly complicates it all, which really works in short text underneath still image. But when you have here's a 200-page novel of this guy ranting, and he just goes off on tangents every now and then. It's
work, is what you're saying.
It's hard. You have to reread a lot of it to understand.
Yeah, it's work. No one wants to do that.
Like Series of Unfortunate Events, if it was aimed at adults, it's the same writing style.
Oh, I couldn't stand those books. Terrible.
But it's odd that the narration pages can get long, But then again, I go back and I read these Carcat pages that are so ridiculously long and complicated, and I spend forever deciphering them.
Who?
Not the Carcat.
Carcat?
Yes.
Carcat.
Does Carcat get 1 Act 3? He gets 1, right?
He gets 1.
1.
But not just deciphering the Hussey language, but trying to figure out all the troll language he uses, which is on top of the Hussey language.
Hussey just starts making up words on top of his already complicated words.
So I'll just go back and I'll be like, okay, we read, what is Carcat saying here? And some of the ones when you decipher them was what really got me confused about on Carcat's character. Go back and reread Carcat's chats. The stuff he goes on about with the Ultimate Whittle and the game itself is so fascinating. He knows more than most characters in Homestuck.
Yeah, but you're only saying that because you're a big Carcat fan.
Yes.
You'd say the same thing about Greedo or Boss from Star Wars.
Well, Homestuck has other amazing characters.
Yeah, but you run around as Carcat all day. You're a little biased, is all I'm saying. Yeah, a little biased.
Little bit.
All right, so why don't you guys take over for a bit, and you had new updates this week, right?
Oh, no, before we get to the updates.
He's cutting you off.
I'm cutting you off.
He's steering us somewhere else.
Star Trek edits.
Oh, you got to watch that with us.
Okay, Andrew Hussey has made these Star Trek edits years ago,
He
right?
writes them and comes up with the ideas.
And then
his friend, the other guy, I forgot his name, he's the one who does the editing, actual software editing work.
But are they Star Trek edits if you're adding in new footage?
Yeah.
Well, because the whole point is to take the footage and repurpose it so that it's something else. And in this one, it's like this is the Riker early 90s show, you know.
That was all repurposed footage. They just pasted his head on the creature. It was all somewhere in a Star Trek episode that thing exists.
So the Star Trek The Next Generation team encounters a creature in space. They perform surgery on it. They slice it open, and out comes what?
I don't even know.
A giant space fish with Riker's head, and everybody looks at Riker, who he smirks, and then it ends. What do you think's the meaning of that? What do you think is the meaning? You have no idea?
No.
You don't get the gist?
Yeah.
That's
What?
That's Wyko's kid?
Yeah, Riker slept with that giant space fish.
Is that what's implied there?
Yeah, and it pops out fully formed with a beard. And that's why Picard gives him that look.
Yeah.
Like, he's just so disappointed. Like, really, Riker? And Riker's like, you know.
It's even a hussy joke. That's Rose's character arc.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, go ahead, no.
Like, did you catch, when watching Act 2, Rose is obsessed with, like, Cthulhu-type creatures, flu and stuff?
Yes.
And her, what's her Pestalog handle?
I don't know.
Tentacle Therapist.
Wampa Lover.
It's Tentacle Therapist, because tentacles for Cthulhu and therapist for her.
Hussy says aside.
But it's a double joke. If you put the spaces in different spots, it's Tentacle the Rapist.
Oh. Great.
And he confirms that in the Act 2 book. He says, what is her real Pestle
What,
chum
like
handle?
hentai? Hentai? Anime?
Pretty much.
Tentacle porn? Ugh. Ugh.
Hussy says it depends on how you interpret it, right?
He says this is what happens when you let a 13-year-old girl come up with her Cthulhu-based chum handle.
Yeah.
That is a really, really little-known fact. Like, I mentioned that, and nobody knows what I'm talking about.
I'd read the comic 2 or 3 times over before.
I didn't catch it until
Hussy's
Hussy's comment
Hussy pointed
there.
it out.
Now, you don't get upset that game isn't out yet and he's working on Star Trek edits again? You don't want to call him up and go, Andrew?
What is it? Is this Jeff from 91 Reasons?
Yeah, Andrew, I just want to ask you a question.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Well, first, why do you sound like Bane?
Well, because you're covering your mouth with your hands.
Yeah, but also, hey, that new Star Trek edit?
Yeah, isn't it great?
Yeah, how do you have time for that? Yeah, that's what I thought. Why don't you go back to work on the game?
But the Star Trek edit was great. Like, when you think about the joke, and you think about how much work was put into it, and that his friend edited it, and Hussy wrote that.
And the Riker show, that's all part of the joke. It's all.
Oh, it was hilarious, but
Right?
it's only hilarious if the guy's got nothing to do, and that's what he's coming up with. But he's got something to do. He's got a video game.
His friend's making money off these edits. He's doing a Patreon where you get to watch him early and do live streams of him making them and stuff.
Oh, boy.
Hussy said the scripts themselves he's done with. He's stockpiled them and handed
Yeah,
them
he has
over.
that pile of old ones, and he's still writing new ones. So they can make Star Trek edits forever now.
All right, well, we'll look forward to more Star Trek edits. They'll never be as good as Data killing everybody for that stupid painting.
Oh, the painting. Yeah,
that's the best one ever. It was on Attack of the Show, right?
Yeah.
They acted the whole thing out. That painting shows up in Homestuck. You'll see it.
All right, well.
And it's in his house.
What else happened this week in Homestuck Land?
Updates. No, more
Hive swap.
Force.
Hive swap.
Oh, we have a lot. Oh.
Yeah, there's a
Get
lot.
to it.
So, Hive Swap, we got some dev interviews.
There are more dev interviews about
More
Seagull.
pixels of them playing board games.
They're playing board games. That's all they're doing.
And then a Hussy interview
Yep.
with words from the Huss himself.
He wrote about he started. It was an interview about Hive Swap, but he mostly talked about Homestuck.
Yeah.
He talked about how ghosts make characters relevant. Like, this has nothing to do with the game. He's just going off on things again.
He went on about retcons and making characters relevant and irrelevant and this whole thing. What was his metaphor he was going about? Mario dying over and over again?
Yeah, he's saying Mario dies, and you have to assume that only the successful route is the one that happens. But you, the player, you know all those failure times. You know.
And he tries to tie that into the retcon plot.
He ties that into the retcon plot, which does into Doom timelines. Doom timelines are losing a life in a video game and starting over. They're just only the correctly done timeline exists to the game's canon, but you know all the failures exist somewhere.
But the new acts is all the characters saying, the failures are failures, they don't matter, let's continue on. Going completely against what Hussy said in that interview.
No, he said in the interview, Doom timelines are just failures. And it's the alpha one that really, truly matters.
That's horrible.
It's like saying Mario saves the princess. You're like, yeah, but what about the other dead Marios? They're just as important. Like, no, they're not just as important.
But we got thousands of pages of development on these other characters. There's got to be a point when someone stands up and goes,
that's
the Doom
that's
cells
like
matter.
that's like forgetting to save in a video game. It's like you're playing like what Bethesda games. You gotta reload to a save. it's you didn't all the other Doom timelines that you're used to seeing in the comic are, and they say 5 minutes ago, go back and try again. This player's been playing for 2 hours and his power went out. He's got to restart all the way back from the beginning again. Does that make the Doom self more important because they were around longer? They're still just as gone.
Okay, let's drop this being a video game and focus on the fact that it's 2 years of writing.
But it's a video game. It's still Suburb.
I know, but what I'm saying is there's gonna be a point where the Doom selves are gonna rise up, and they're gonna realize they're just as important as the main characters. Because all they've been doing in this act is just basting on Dave Sprite and talking about how less important Will Sprite is. And, I mean, have you listened to Mobius Trip and Hadron Collider? The songs just keep going, you've got a reason to live. Like, you have a purpose to serve. You're here for a reason. Mm-hmm. And that kind of goes against the whole, you're purposeless, you don't have a reason. And following the ultimate riddle and what we can hear from Bowman's lyrics, the ultimate riddle is that everyone has a path in their own decisions, and you don't have to stick to what Paradox Space is telling you. You're your own person.
You're BYB now. Hi, BYB.
Well, that's not the real ultimate riddle. That's more of like the fake ultimate riddle. The real ultimate riddle is the webcomic.
What does Carcat call it?
The flowery, poetic ultimate riddle, as he says.
Exact quotes, like you said.
Yeah.
I think he uses the word prose in there, but you're good.
But that is probably what he's talking about, that version of the ultimate riddle. The real meta ultimate riddle is it's a webcomic. But the fake flowery one is that you've got your own path, which is sort of more important than being fake and flowery, because it's basically saying that it's dumb that you keep saying these Doom selves are unimportant. You gotta follow the Alpha timeline. Go back, retcon. Go back, retcon. No, we all have a reason, and you can't just keep going back and retconning it, you know? And you don't just say you're unimportant and become Doom because Paradox Space says so. You're doing that because you say so. It's sort of like how Vriska does things because he knows it's going to happen, so why not have her be it? No, it's not going to happen. It's only happening because C's doing it.
It'll be interesting to see how Hussey brings that up. If he is going towards the Doom selves can be important. Because if he's going towards that, it's kind of unfair to say, okay, that's it. Doom selves are important, and Dave Sprite comes up, and Doomed Rose, and Jasper Sprite, and all that. And then you're like, okay, now what about the infinitely millions amount of dead Alpha Trolls? They should be just as equal important as Dave Sprite. Why aren't they getting the same amount of screen time?
Well, they'll show up at some point.
But if you're doing the everyone has a true purpose, then you're meaning every single one.
Okay,
you have to give them all a moment.
You can't do every single character.
But that's what you're saying. That's exactly what you just said. You said that everyone has a reason to live.
Well, yeah.
So now you're saying, no, everyone does. And by that, I mean the second tiers, like Dave Sprite.
No.
Third tiers and down, that they still don't deserve screen time.
You're forgetting the point. The best way to do this would to have a second tier Doom self go in a dream bubble and find some of the really forgotten Doom selves, like, name one. Name a really forgotten
Maid
Dooms.
Equius.
Like Maid Equius, Mituna Latula. Even put Tuezi with the blindfold from Game Over there. And it's just all of them living in a normal neighborhood, normal life. And you have the characters show up, and they're like, what's going on here? And they've just been here for like 1,000 years living their normal life. They've completely forgotten about Suburb, and they've taken their own path. And they're important in their own life. Wouldn't that be great? Rather than just say, there's just a bunch of random Mitunas wandering. They're unimportant. They just think about how unimportant they are all day long.
That's how they've been the whole comic.
No, you got
It's going to take a lot to turn that back around.
I mean,
500 pages.
Wouldn't that be really cool, though? To just sew a normal dream bubble town of all these people living together who've just completely forgotten about Suburb.
And then Lauren Lewis shows up and kills them all?
No! You go on the main character and you have them realize that this game doesn't matter, or the ultimate reward, or the fact that they have to do all this because Paradox Space says so. They have their own path and they can take it where they want. You know? Mm-hmm. That's how I think, that's the direction I want the comic to go. Because they're so much focused on beating the game that they're not going to beat the game. Okay? Let's say that right now. If anyone beats the game, it's only going to be John. Mm-hmm. We're never going to see all the trolls becoming gods.
Carcat deserves to be the one to open the door, though. John's going to step through it, but Carcat has to be the one to open it.
No, he won't open it. He'll realize he doesn't have to.
He's gonna fail again. Wouldn't that be great if Carcat just messes everything up again?
No, he'll sacrifice himself somehow in the final battle and realize that he doesn't need the door.
John, you created an invincible demon. Again. Karkat, you failed to open the door. Again.
No, it's not going to happen again. Even if it does happen again, it would be in a totally different context.
Vriska, no. Again. Again. For the 10th time. 8th time.
So, moving on to the actual updates we got to.
Yeah.
We zoomed out of the cloud and we got back to Calliope and
Yes.
Jade
So,
in the dream
the
bubbles.
only two important things that happened were Doomed Callie and Jasper Rose Sprite squared.
Hussey created a new species in Homestuck. He
Yeah.
found another way. Not only another way to put more sprites in the comic, 'cause it's all he does
That's
now.
all he does is put more sprites in the comic.
But a new species. An entirely new species
Sprite
in
squared.
canon. They have feet.
They have feet.
Why do they have feet?
Because two wispy tails stuffed in shoes make feet.
I mean, I guess so.
Each one had a tail, so the two tails equal feet.
I guess.
And Durst pajamas because reasons.
It's Doomed Rose from the
It's
Dave
Doom
Sprite
Rose
time.
from Dave Sprite's timeline, who disappeared into the void to merge her memories with Alpha Rose, who was then sprited and is now double sprited, so the Doomed Rose is now the one to come out. Because Jasper's is voidy because he been transportalized so much, and he brought out the void timeline Rose inside of the Rose.
Wow.
That or she just looked cooler in that outfit, so Hussey drew her in that.
Rose, if you really think about it, Rose wears her Dorse outfit more than like anyone else in Homestuck. It's like one of her main outfits he runs around in. Because he has in all of the Doom timeline scenes, all of the lead up to Cascade, all of Cascade itself.
I'm trying to... No, not... Oh, yeah, she does wear it. Does she?
What do you mean?
Okay, yeah, she does wear
Yeah,
a casket.
she wears it a lot. All of Act 5
Oh, that's
Act
right,
2.
because she dies on the roof
Yeah.
and John kisses her, so she warps her into herself.
She wears the Dreamer outfit most of the comic. Not counting Act 6. I mean, she doesn't wear it for most of the comic, obviously, because most of the content is in the Act 6 acts. But she wears it for most of the story progression. She's also the first character to finally have a variation of the God Tier outfit. She's got Dorse with it.
Yeah, Durst Light. Which is inevitable because Light and Durst are opposite logos. So the first thing that the Durst logo gets mixed with is a Light logo.
Why won't the kids alchemize their God Tiers with their T-shirts?
Because it's an icon. It's an iconic thing. They're God tiers. They shouldn't go messing with that.
Like, I would just imagine John's God Tier, but instead of the blue Windy logo, it's an all blue green slime ghost in a lighter color. Like,
Because
then Jade just has the white back head on her God Tier.
God tier clothing loses its meaning when you can upgrade it. God tier clothing is supposed to be God tier. You think MMOs like you can start with the different rarity types: uncommon, rare, super rare. This is God tier. Well, the tier they're at is God. Going just higher than that in weird little spurts would be weird.
Oh, come on, I played MMOs. Here's what you do. You get the highest armor, and then you just select the style of what you think looks good together, and have the stats of the good armor with it. That's what you do. I mean, that was all of DC Online right there. People bought that,
I don't know.
the Wonder Woman armor that was the best in the game, but... Okay, the best armor in all of DC Online is Booster Gold. No, does everybody run around in Booster Gold outfits? No, they don't. They equip it and then they change the style to look different because nobody wants to be in an ugly Booster Gold outfit.
You don't just change the style in Homestuck. Suburb rules they can actually get stats. And having God tiers that are like, should I have God tier outfit with this stats or God tier with these effects or... It implies that there's upgrades to the God tier outfit,
No,
which I don't think so.
Just one T-shirt, man. Or, I mean, make it so the kids can't upgrade it and just have Kanaya sew up with all the outfits.
The one time there may be an off-screen alchemy of God tier clothing is Rose's dress on Kanaya's date. Because out of nowhere, she magically has this really nice dress that's the same color as her light outfits.
And the earrings that are God tier.
And the earring that her, the little things. So that may or may not be one of Kanaya's dresses with her God tier outfit, but it wasn't shown, so we don't know.
Okay. But, I mean, I still don't get it. I mean, it would look so much better if the kids just had their logos and their God tier outfits.
Well, maybe Hussey's waiting for last moment to do that.
Yeah.
Because you see, they've worn the outfit for so long, you're expecting them to upgrade it and switch to something else. I think that there's at max one more outfit switch for each character by the end of the comic.
Okay. I still think the best outfits were like Act 5, Act 2, which was Doorstreamer Rose and Jade in the dead Suffle suit.
Because he actually designed outfits for each one. He's at the point now where they're all God tier, which is called that one cool outfit he designed for John in Act 5. Yeah, he's got to think of designs that look kind of like that for every character, so he loses some creative power in that.
Yeah.
In Act 5, Act 2, it's anything went.
Even the Alpha kids, Waxy got that really cool cat dress, and Jake got the Nick Cade's get up with the golden guns, and that lasted like one flash page. And
God tiers more represent their who they are rather than what they like.
Yeah.
Their outfits represent what they like. God tiers who they are, because it's like Dave says, "I'm not a hero," and then he starts dressing around as Superman.
Yeah. Okay. But now Doomed Callie. We finally saw Sprite mode Doomed Callie.
No, we didn't.
Not Sprite mode.
No.
Hero mode.
He's hero mode still. It's almost verging on Huss Nasty.
Yeah.
He's getting right in the close in the line again. It's losing his sketchiness.
He's shaded really weird.
Yeah.
It's more detailed than we've ever seen a Cherub. So, red bow tie.
Yeah,
red
she's
text.
got a red bow tie and red text, and she talks in completely lowercase. That means she had something happen in her life that she took her brother's quirk and typing color.
It's just Caliborn, man. I'm telling you right now.
No.
It's just Caliborn.
No, this is a dominated Callie. How that happened, we don't know.
It confuses
And
me.
this implies that there is a non-dominated Caliborn doomed out there.
He's what really matters.
He's the true hero of the comic. Yeah.
Considering all they've talked about for the past 2,000 pages is how this Calliope's the weapon that's going to save everything, see, might last like one more
She's
page.
either going to die or kill someone right off the bat right now.
Yeah, right now. You're right. So he's either just going to kill Jade or Calliope or just immediately get killed.
What would happen if a bubble pops with a dream self in it? Like if Jade were to be double killed right now, but her body is still safely in the real Echidna's lair with Karkat and Kanaya, would she wake up, or would her body become an empty shell because that was technically her soul in the dream bubbles?
I don't know. I mean,
that falls under Hussey's rule of it's too complicated. It's game shenanigans that aren't going to make any sense, so it's just never going to be brought up in the comic, and then we never have to solve it.
Well, that's
what we said about double spriting.
And he did it.
That was the exact example he used for that theory, I think. And now he's done it.
Yep.
So anything can go.
Well, Lord Inglis, planning, why on earth would he destroy Jade's soul? He'd break his own loop. He knows that he has to keep Jade's soul alive. So that in a little while, when Jade finally wakes up with Echidna, does her frog quest, he can meet up with John, go after Caliborn, get sucked in the house juju.
Well, we don't know if that's the same Jade. There's infinite doom selves. If you only need one of them to go into the house.
Yeah. You're just gonna grab some random Jade off the streets and throw
Game
her in?
over, Jade. Done.
Oh, yeah, I guess that
People
could.
have theories that they're not even real bodies. That it's just Dirk made up some fake souls to put in dead game over corpses.
The house has too much power that it has to be powered by will souls. It has to be the will souls in that. That's the only way the house itself can be powered.
But how was it used the first time?
What do you mean?
Caliborn used it and he became the I don't know.
He used it and got superpowers.
He used it, got sucked into the...
No.
It can be used twice. Once to create Lord English, once to stop him.
Yeah.
This is how it was used to create Lord English, and it never was actually used. It sucked them in, and then through circumstance, he got trapped inside Cal.
See, the thing is, it doesn't create Lord English. It creates
It just
Lord English.
happened to be there
Yeah.
to create the circumstances for Lord English to possibly come into existence.
And
It didn't actually, I use it, and then he becomes all ripped.
that's kind of the joke he made by
Yeah.
doing the Sweetbo comic. Like, he doesn't use it, let's get whipped. Not really, you know? It's not like he touches the thing and gets buff. When he uses it, it will just create the perfect outcome for him that will make him Lord English. Everything will go right for him. And it seems if it's used badly, everything will go wrong in such a way. They're not gonna use the souls in the house to zap Lord English and kill him with it. It's just gonna the house is somehow gonna involve a cascade of effects that will take him down.
retcon powers. So it has to be the retcon that defeats him. Because the only way to defeat the Lord of Time is to escape time.
Yeah.
And the retcon powers let John do that. So But how that works in a meta sense, we don't know.
I mean,
Especially since Caliborn's origin is so good that he's almost locked from even retcon saviors because there's nowhere there's no exact moment you can pinpoint to stop him. It's a loop.
Yeah.
And if you break the loop anywhere, you could just destroy the context of the entire comic, and then it's just the whole thing's gone to dust.
I mean, if he goes back and messes with too much, then there's no comic.
Caliborn knew the only thing that can stop him was the retconning powers of the Juju. So he's gone out of his way to ensure that everything loops so perfectly, and Doc Scratch was responsible for most of that, that it's impossible to even retcon him out of existence. He was always there. Always. You can't just say, oh, go back and stop him before he was created. No, he's always there.
He's unstoppable.
There is not a single panel in Homestuck you can go to and say, in this point of time, Lord English was not created yet, and he's now nowhere in existence. Because he's been there since panel 1, somewhere.
Now, what really gets me is why he has the Wing of Void.
Who?
Caliborn.
Caliborn? He got the ring somehow, yeah.
But he didn't even get to go back in time and use it anywhere. He got sucked into the little Cal.
Yeah. Because we're supposed to have Roxy pick it up there. Roxy has it now. She's going to try to give it to Alt Cali, but something's going to go wrong. It's going to fall into Caliborn's hands. Then they'll have the showdown. She'll pick up the ring and then actually give it to Alt Cali for the finale.
It's not going to go like that, though. It's going to go to some random person. Mm-hmm. Who will get it, though? Who's the worst person that can get the wing?
Well, assuming one ring theory, it'll be back to life when Roxy picks it up.
Yeah.
So, I'm assuming either doomed Calliope and she's actually evil or something, doomed Calliope and actually going to go right and that's how the comic's going to end, or doomed Caliborn. And then who knows what else he's going to do with him.
Like, if the wing falls somewhere in a dream bubble, what's the most unexpected thing you can scream about that picks it up? Everyone flipped out when Awania picked it up, because that was the most unexpected thing ever.
It can't be the little shy, quiet character is now the cool villain, because he's already done that with the ring even.
Yeah.
He could get away with doing that again with something else, but with the ring, you gotta think of something new. So, I don't know. Solix, Equius, they're equally villainy characters that we could see becoming villains and then doing... Dave's probably wouldn't work, because we don't know what...
Like, what if it just falls in a bubble, and then a really young Dave from the Lorax Stock Exchange with the briefcase picks it up?
It'd just be a random Dave now. Dave Sprite dies, the crow just goes to wherever, and the Dave Sprite soul's in dream bubbles. He's just Dave again.
Yeah, because even if Dave Sprite is dead, like John keeps saying, he's somewhere running about right now. Yeah. He's just Dave in a...
But he's lost relevancy. Ghosts don't have relevancy. They have to do something to gain it back, like put on the ring or become sprited or something.
Yeah.
Dave Sprite lost his sprite powers, so he's not relevant anymore. He can show up, but then he's not going to be able to do anything plot important, or else Paradox Space will come crashing down on him.
But isn't the flowery poetic ultimate whittle that Paradox Space won't come crashing down on you, that you can do what you want and ignore all the rules?
No, you have to have you have to have some sort of power that allows you to ignore the rules. The rules are still there. The horror terrorists still say, you are not important, please stop messing with things, it's too hard to keep track of the timeline with you messing around. So just let's keep it nice and orderly. And you can break those rules by spriting or with the ring or something else. But eventually it comes back and bites you with your planet exploding or getting choked to death by the Condus.
Yeah.
Then Paradox Space always finds a way to right itself again. Rainey's grand plan of repairing a timeline herself will never work. Because that's what the horror terrorists
What was Irania's plan again? What was the big deal with that?
She was going to purposely doom the timeline and then use her powers to fix it so it would become the Alpha timeline. It's completely unprecedented, did not make any sense, there was no way she was going to be able to do it.
So why would Hussey put that in the comic?
Because it caused people to think it's a doom timeline, so that you wouldn't see the retcon stuff coming.
Okay, because I'm like, what was the point of writing all that then? But then again, you ask yourself, if he really is going with the retcon, what was the point of writing all this stuff? Mm-hmm. Which is why you can instantly know something's going to happen, and he's not going to stick with this.
If you're attributing retconning to no point in writing it, then you could say, Hussey in 2009, a young man stands in his bedroom, all is well, the end. Because he knew someday he was going to retcon.
Yeah.
Nothing matters. There's no reason to write the comic.
There's a reason he wrote it all.
Yeah, it's still got a reason.
Yeah. There's a reason the Seuss papping scene happened. That still has relevance.
That didn't happen.
There's a reason Mina Bound happened.
Well, that happened. The shoes papping happened just so we could see Karkat's lame text and then be yelled at by Hussie whenever we bring it up. He says, "It's not important. I'll get to it someday, but it's not important. Stop talking about it."
And now you retconned it out. Good work, Hussie.
Yep.
Good work. Because this Karkat now does not know of those powers, so he can't use them ever, really.
Yeah.
Because I expected him to do something bigger with the Seuss Pat powers.
Well, he'll eventually have to use it against Caliborn.
Oh, okay.
UIB goes on and on about how Caliborn and Karkat are the ultimate kiss maces, but no, they're the ultimate pal.
Oh, I could totally work too.
Yeah.
And considering Karkat and Dave,
Because-
Caliborn's another time player, I think Karkat could get along very well with him.
Yes. And Calliope was how Caliborn calmed down in the past, so it makes sense if another line
Yeah.
to calm him down.
Imagine if Karkat just calms Caliborn down, and then we get a sound, and it's just like Karkat's Instagram, and they're watching
then-
Dane cook together.
But if
Karkat Caliborn.
Caliborn might have seen that coming, that Karkat has the power to calm him down. So,
He could have his weakness, but what's...
no, so he had Doc Scratch create the whole Alturian society in such a way that they mass genocide Limebloods, which have the only power that can defeat Lord English. Because Lord English is the Hulk. If you calm him down, his power's gone.
Oh.
Limebloods calm people down.
Okay, but didn't he
See,
see...
Karkat is Black Widow here, and they're gonna do the thing.
No! No!
Karkat grabs Ellie's hand. What did she say? The sun is setting, big guy.
Yeah, something
Big
like
man, the sun is setting. Gotta measure it. And then
But, okay, so if Lord English knew the Limebloods could calm him down, and he went back in time and caused a mass genocide, why would he leave Karkat?
I think Karkat.
Why wouldn't he just go back in time and kill Karkat? There you go, Limeblood's gone.
Because
That's
if
how it
Karkat was dead, Lord English would have been created in the first place. Because Karkat was the one who helped put the teams together and get Gamzee in the session, who'd later create the locale.
He also helped his Sovo in the Till
wouldn't
Death
have-
Code.
Yeah. Well, no, he did nothing
No.
to do with that. Karkat activated the Doomsday Code that may or may not have actually done anything at all.
What did that do? I mean, it
Places a curse on you and everyone you will ever come in contact. The bad luck will strike you, and the worst possible things will ever happen.
Okay.
But it all would have happened anyway, so the code doesn't really do much.
Okay.
But Karkat had to exist for Lord English to exist. So he Paradox Space meant he had to exist. Caliborn doesn't have access to retcon powers, so he has to abide by laws of time.
Is it possible that things like Mina Bound and Karkat calming Gamzee down and all the stuff that happened in the media with Rose and Kanaya was retconned out on purpose? Because, I mean, now the other Rose is gone, because now we have the old Rose from the Dave Sprite timeline. Is it possible that when John shows up with Lord English says, "Of course you can't beat me.
Well, yeah.
All your friends missed every key moment in their life. I made you retcon them all out on purpose."
That's going into Calmasis theory. This theory, I think BYB talked a little bit about it. It's a common thing on the Reddit I've seen, and it implies that Lord English is extremely smart. Smarter than anyone in the comics, smarter than AH, smarter than Doc Scratch, smarter than anyone. Because he's the sum of everyone. He's Doc Scratch plus Gamzee.
Okay.
Plus Caliborn. And that
Plus
implies
Little
that,
Hal.
plus Little Hal. And the theory implies that Lord English is smart enough to have planned out the retcons. That as soon as he read Homestuck and started drawing all the Homosuck stuff, he knew how the universe operated and how retcons work, and he's in a webcomic, and that he was able to plan the retcons out in such a way that it will end in his favor. That John was supposed to go back, retcon his friends out of any character development and stuff, because if you cheat as Mario with the star, you don't learn as much later on when you really need it.
Oh my
And
God.
In Act 2, Rose tells John, I would just drop stuff on the amps, but you, John, need to learn to fight because it'll be important later on. So Lord English has stopped that from happening. And Lord English has gotten the ring to, this is BYB's thing, that the ring will eventually end up in Calliope's finger, where it'll send off a beacon of light, and Destruction buff Lord English will instantly go, "There she is!" and just blast from across the multiverse right at her.
Oh.
That Lord English wants John to get the ring so that they can eventually give it to Callie, and Callie will spawn in the session. The ring will send off a beacon and he'll blow up the session, and that's it. He's alpha killed every main character and he's won.
Well.
Or the other one is the Calmasis chess theory, the swapped king and queen. And that the same thing completely implies planned retcons out, get the ring, beacon, everything, except Calliope's been planning it ever since she was been watching the Alpha Kids.
So, why would Calliope be planning this? Why would she want to know all this? Why would she want?
She's been the evil one all along.
Oh, why the swapped king and queen?
Swapped king and queen. The twins were mixed. Calliope's been the evil twin the whole time.
Could you just imagine if the next update, Doom Calliope's just come closer. I got you now, Jade. Jade turns around, and then the Will Calliope pulls her gun out on Jade.
Yeah, they're
and
both evil. They've been working together.
Oh God, 'cause he's so sweet and innocent.
Mm-hmm. All I'm saying is we got one Calliope who's really sinister, talking in red chat, dressed like death, and summoning them to do her bidding. And on the other hand, we have Caliborn, who's sitting around drawing comics and goofing off.
Something, I think it's reversed.
Yeah.
The whole king and queen thing.
And that's the only thing that's never had any kind of payoff, is the king and queen swap. And it's been mentioned multiple times.
I mean, Sweet Will, just look at it. Mm-hmm. He throws the chess piece in the toilet.
Throws the chess piece in the toilet. That's supposed to be Jade's house falling.
Yeah, but it like Homestuck, it repeats itself, and it goes a lot deeper than that. Yeah, I guess you're right there. I like the swap theory.
Mm-hmm. Well, something has to swap in some form or another. LE in some form has to swap a king and a queen by revealing that they were swapped. It's the only way to pay off that, to pay off complacency. Which we were just reminded of when Rose and Roxy were talking, so it's still important.
What kings and queens do we have right now? We got Condis, we got PM, we got...
PM and Beck, Condis, and Unknown. I don't know if we ever saw what happened to the White Queen. Caliborn and Calliope, Ellie and Alt Callie, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Left Gamzee, right Gamzee.
You know, what just now occurred to me is that if Lord English really did set up the retcons to happen, do you know who made the list in the first place of all the random things to do? Terezi. Do you know what Terezi was doing for 3 years? Being chuckle-rooted by Gamzee.
Yeah.
So it's no doubt that Gamzee possibly chuckle-rooted Terezi into making that list.
She used her mind powers to do it, but she may have been swayed by outside sources. But you're dipping into they're being chuckle-voodooed, which is every single theory to ever come out of every update ever. Every single character in the company is being chuckle-voodooed at the end.
They've always been chuckle-voodooed.
Dave's a puppet.
He's not always a puppet, okay?
Yeah, I know.
Only during that Gamzee Frid scene from the recent
Jake's
updates.
the puppet. Or it's going to be at some point.
Jake's not the puppet.
It's the only villain theory of BYB's I agree with. That Jake has to become an evil puppet at some point because of Weekend at Bernie's.
The only thing I see happening is him putting on the felt backup coat and all the felt joining him. And that's the payoff. But he won't really be evil.
Yeah, the felt are going to go up and say, oh, Mr. English?
It's him.
So wait, try this coat on. It works! Oh my god.
It's the boss. There he is.
They all leave and Spade Slick's like, wait up, guys.
He's not really a bad guy. He just has the felt army with him now. A sort of payoff, you know? And also a payoff to Caliborn's art he did that looks like Jake.
Yeah.
I mean, of course it looks like Jake. He likes Jake.
That was an art done by a forum member back in 2010.
Yes, it was. But when is the house scene gonna happen? That's what really gets me. Are you really telling me that these kids are gonna have the chance to open a new universe and they're gonna go, wait, first let's beat up Lord English?
They're gonna beat Suburban then do it, I think. Unless the battle goes horribly wrong and they end up at Caliborn somehow.
Yeah. From what we can tell, it's just a stage, but we all assume it's the Calhead that he beats Caliborn up in. Unless Caliborn comes to them.
No, because they retconned in.
That's why they zapped into Caliborn.
They zapped in. Caliborn specifically saw on the screen, they zapped in. I'm assuming that they're going to have a giant battle. It's going to go well. They're going to defeat Condis and Union Jack and all. Spade Slick's going to join them. They're all going to come together on the platform, reach for the door, and Lord English spawns in. The invincible demon spawns in right as they reach for the doorknob. Again, for like the upteenth time in the comic.
And
just like when Beck showed up when Karka was going to open the door.
So the kids have to wet
And the kids are going to realize, okay, we're going to run. We're going to run. They run to the meteor because, you know, there's an alpha meteor, too, which we've never seen before. It's there.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Act 4 all over again. The kids are holed up in the meteor while the invincible demon is destroying the session. And they're going to be like, okay, everyone gather together. We can't beat him, so we're going to have to time travel to beat him. We're going to retcon into Caliborn and go beat him up. And then we're going to retcon back here and open the door because there's no more villains, we win. They retcon back to Caliborn and end up creating Lord English in the first place.
That is saying that we're going to get, like, Sound Wake again. Well, all the we ourselves got killed and Beck threatened them.
The big battle is going to be one flash. I don't see any other way of doing it. Unless he really draws it out like a 100-page epic GIF battle. Problem sleuth style.
What do you do about the 4 trolls left, though? Lord English just perma kills them?
Who?
Whisker, Trezzy, Kanaya. Okay, not Whisker. Whisker's gone. Whisker left. But Trezzy, Cockcat, and Kanaya.
I'm assuming that when they retcon into Caliborn, they're going to leave them behind on the new meteor. So then you once again have, well, here we are, the trolls stuck on a meteor alone, waiting for the kids.
The kid's never going to survive. I mean, I'm trying to think of different ways how they could include the trolls in the finale. They could each become exiles and get exile computers. No?
No, there's not enough time for that.
You don't see Rose exile to Kanaya, Cockcat exile to Dave.
No.
No.
And it'd have to be the alpha kids, because they're the ones without exiles.
Oh, okay. Cockcat exile to Jake?
Mm-hmm. What were the alpha kids' entry items?
What do you mean? It wasn't just apple, bottle, the same?
Was it exactly the same? I'd have to look back.
I thought it was the same. But Jake didn't do the pinata thing.
There was no pinata. No, there was a pinata. I remember now. It was a GCat pinata.
That's why
I'll have to look back. I think it was the same. So they'd have the same exile tubes, but I don't know.
Looked into the egg, though.
You know what? They had the same exile tubes. So, and Caliborn is in an exact duplicate of WV's exile hatch.
In a way, the cherubs were sort of like the exiles of the Alpha Kids. They filled that wall
In a way. They talked to them instead of sending commands. They were not in the exile chamber. They were in the meteor. And they talked to them before they turned the game on.
Yeah, but, like, if he really wants to go back to Homestuck's roots for the finale, and, you know, Lord English gets defeated by a Silodex mishap, would that not be the greatest thing ever? But
Stairs.
You think he'd want to take Homestuck to its roots for the finale, right? By doing video game stuff. He's got to include exiles.
Well, that's why WV's going to put on the ring and do stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, someone's going to go to the computer, and for the final arc of Homestuck, we're going to follow, like, one character with an exile. No?
There's no more computers. There's only one. It's in Caliborn's Cal head.
Okay. So, the kids warp in. The kids get stuck in the house. Are we going to get, like, an Alpha Kid scene of them just... I mean, they're beaten to a bloody pulp at this point. What do? They can't go back. John can't retcon it back. They're stuck in Caliborn's Cal head.
Yeah.
They can't get back on the Sesson. You know that, right? If John gets stuck in the house, he can't warp the Alpha Kids back. So that's it. The Alpha Kids are just beaten to a bloody pulp on the floor of Caliborn's floor.
But they may have access to the third room with a Cal head if it's an exact duplicate of WV's. They can gain access to the third room, which has a transportalizer to the universe, the session again. Or the second room has oh, you know what? The second room of WV's pod has a purifier. If they purify one of the windows during the battle that they're about to have, they can go through it and appear in the middle of the battle.
Okay. But you really think the kids are going to get sucked in? The Alpha Kids can be like, well, back to the Sesson, so much for them.
Well, yeah, that's all you can do.
We're going to get, like, a horrible Strider scene.
Somehow, that little house logo has to end up in the farthest reach of a dream bubble at the beginning of the comic.
Yeah, Caliborn teleports at the beginning of time. We know that. The kids that go through all of reality.
How does that work? Dream bubbles are affected by retcons. How can you send something in the future back to the beginning of dream bubbles?
I don't know. What really gets me is that if they ever do free the kids will have seen all of reality. So, these will be the smartest beta kids ever created.
Well, it'd finally be a payoff for the Stiller Shade seeing all of reality.
We'd have 4 kids who know everything.
Way, yeah.
And could they outwit Lord English? They know everything.
Just sprite the house juju and be done with it. It's the
now,
sprite kernel.
You kept saying that Dave's Sades are going to get thrown off before he gets sucked in the house.
I was thinking that. Because it'd be really nice to have the Ultimate Stealer Shades not be trapped inside of Juju, and to have Dirk hold them cracked as a panel edit of him holding the cracked AR.
Yeah.
And realizing Dave's dead. And that may be the next time we see Dirk, if we were doing this just skimming around them. And then the first time we ever see the Shredder Union is Dave's gone again, and he's holding his broken shades in his hand.
That's messed
up.
up.
That's the big Shredder Union you guys have been waiting for.
And would that not be the perfect callback to when Dave was just staring, looking at his shades as Will was dead next to him?
Yeah.
Because he didn't take them off and just talk to Tuezia.
He looks at the sword and tries to kick it off.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
He says, I'm not doing it. I'm not taking the sword out of his chest. And then the sword's taken out of his chest off screen in Act 6.
Yeah, right.
It's like, you should have done that. Oh, no. Well, yeah, it is. Because it's stuck in the ground, not his body. They already buried Bro by the time they got there.
Jade zapped the body and they had a funeral.
Which is Hussey's way of saying, no, we're not going to dig up his body.
They are.
No.
Yes.
I've been saying Zombie Bro since I finished the comic, and before it was even an option. Now that it's an option, I don't know.
Oh, you saw, why wouldn't he do it? We got Japro's white
After Japro's Sprite squared, I guess anything can happen.
anything.
And having a Bro Sprite would be another Dirk Splinter. If that's
Yeah.
still a thing Hussey's doing. They've even solving Dirk Splinters lately. So.
Look, we're not going to go back to these characters for a while. I think we're going to follow Doom and Calliope for a while now.
No. Next update will be cut away.
Cut away to where?
You don't do a dramatic zoom up on their face, come here, and then not cut away somewhere else. That's a Homestuck staple.
Then where do you cut to?
You cut back to the session. They still got to set up the battle. There's a lot of setup to do before this big battle scene.
Who cares, really? Just cut right to it. Let's get things going.
The battle scene either has to be 100-page epic gift stuff or a big flash, both of which Hussey doesn't have done yet. So he's got to draw out the setup.
Oh. But a lot of these characters are going to, perma-die during this class.
I don't see that happening.
No?
No, Lord English isn't around yet.
You don't expect any character.
I can see a lot of characters to die in the big battle against the Condis and Union Jack.
But you don't see any perma-deaths.
No.
Really?
Union Jack might zap someone, like how Kanaya got zapped in Game Over, and that we never saw if it counted as a permadeath.
Is that Kanaya on the Dream Bubbles or not? You think
we don't know.
Japro's White Squared would bring that up? They sort of wore a relationship for 3 years.
Yeah, that Doomed Rose is like, oh, it's okay, Kanaya. We can be in bubbles together, and I'm part cat now. Hi, guys.
Yeah, and I mean, when Spike goes on, he's going to be less of, but you don't think he'd take a second to go, I was with my girlfriend in the Dream Bubbles for a couple hundred years.
She was still with the Game Over cells.
And you would think, oh, Hussey's not going to bring that up. We had an entire character based around that. Mm-hmm. Jade Sprite, what her entire character was, I had an entire life in the Dream Bubbles.
Jade Sprite made no sense to future rules. That doesn't make any sense.
From what we can tell, she hung out with the Hive Swap trolls for about 1,000 years.
Jade Sprite says she hung out with trolls we haven't met yet, and still haven't met, because she didn't recognize the Alpha Trolls either. And it implies that Dream Selves have their own soul, and that if you kill just a Dream Self, it'll go into Dream Bubbles as its own person.
Yeah.
So that if you kill the Dream Self first, then turn around and don't corpse mooch anything, kill the Dream Self first, and then the regular self, they can talk to each other in a bubble somewhere. What sense does that make? We've seen Dirk. That doesn't work for Dirk. Dirk, it's the same soul.
That's why
he's both.
Yeah.
He controls both. He's both people.
Yet, there's a character called Dos Nepeta who runs around with Carcat and then dies from Lord English.
Well, that could just be a doomed one that died, corpse mooch, and then became Durst. We don't know if that's a
That's the Nepeta that got killed in Wake. The one that backstabbed.
Is it?
I mean,
how is that?
That's literally pages either before or after. I don't remember. He talks to Jasper Sprite, and Jasper Sprite, it may take multiple lives. Before you're happy.
Okay, first of all, you're really far off because that conversation with Jasper Sprite is in the Doc Scratch.
It's a flashback,
segment, and the Doom Nepeta is shown in Roxy Sleepwalk.
Okay. Well, I was referring to Sound Wake. Well, we see Dos Dream and Nepeta stabbed.
Isn't Sound Wake? Well, they show her dying, yeah, but how was Nepeta on the meteor?
Wait, what? What are you talking about? In Soundwake, they kill Dorse Nepeta, and then Nepeta's on the meteor.
So you die as your Durst self, and you wake up back as your normal self, but your Durst self soul goes into dream bubbles.
Nepeta was awake on the dream bubble. Why
are
Dorse self
the rules different for every character?
No.
Is Nepeta special because she was a harp player like Dirk? Did she control both at once?
No, listen to me. Okay, so in Soundwake, they killed Dorse Nepeta.
Which implies that she was asleep.
Yes.
If Durst Nepeta was outside of her tower.
Oh, okay.
So when you killed Durst Nepeta, she woke back up. But also, her soul went into the dream bubbles and became a ghost.
And married the Cockhat god tier.
Yes. So there are 2.
Yeah.
That means 3 Solixes.
Wait, there's a lot of Solixes.
That means Alpha Solix. There is first Meteor, second Retcon Meteor Solix, Aerosol Sprite, the corpse that's in the fridge, Ghost Prospect Dreamer, and Ghost Durst Dreamer.
Yes.
There are 6 Solixes that are completely Alpha Timeline Solixes.
Well, do you remember in Menabound when Prospect Cockhat that got killed by Jack and Ross shows up and starts yelling, "I hate the afterlife, I hate the afterlife, I hate the afterlife"?
That mini
He
stripe
starts
is
yelling that?
as made Equius. Not every ghost there is from the Alpha Timeline. That could just be a Doom where he
What
died
I'm
during
saying
that
is,
scene.
there's a lot of Dreamer selves in that class who are just in the pajamas.
I always thought that implied that they died, corpse smooshed, and then died again, and that ghost went to and then they were in their Durst outfit in the dream bubbles. But
I think
it could imply that they get 2 ghosts per timeline.
Remember,
That makes sense of Dave Sprite timeline Rose going into Jasper Sprite too, because she's been around all this time.
yeah.
And that could possibly mean, if this is fully that timeline Rose, then Game Over Rose might have gone back into the dream bubbles when Jasper Sprite happened. You know, she was pretty reluctant to say, Jasper Sprite, no. Oh, hi guys, Jasper Sprite. Yes, that happened. I'm the Rose Sprite. That's a sudden change in mood. If she may have just switched Roses. She hasn't talked yet, so we don't know. She may have just switched over to Durst Dreamer Rose.
And the other one's got booted to the bubbles.
Regular Rose is now booted to the bubbles.
And still show up with Kaname over Kanaya and some paid sub coming up. Probably when Vriska starts running through the bubbles?
Maybe. And so by this logic, if you die, get corpse mooch and go into your Durst, then there's only 1 ghost per timeline, right? There's no regular ghost created and then you take your dream self.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, Rose died and was corpse mooched to her Durst body, but that Rose didn't become a ghost. All her consciousness became in the Durst dream self.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Unless there really is just a Rose who lived up until that point in the bubbles.
Every Alpha kid died and became their dream self before they entered, or when they entered. But there's no doomed Alpha kids.
No.
So yeah. You only get 2 Alpha ghosts if your dreamer self dies first, and then your normal self.
From what we can tell,
Then that splits the soul.
It's weird that it's almost as if the dreamer self and your soul are the same thing when they're first discussed, because Fafri explains to Jade, now when you go asleep, you'll just be in the dream bubbles rather than on Prospect. But what he doesn't mention is that you're just a soul, and that your dream bubble self you were playing as previously is actually running around.
They get a soul too, running around dream bubbles forever.
And Jade discovers that like 5 pages later when she makes Jade Sprite. And she starts yelling at her.
Yeah.
So it is a real canon thing. From what Jade Sprite said.
It's overly complicated. I'd say it falls under don't bring it up, we don't have to explain it, but with Jasper Rose Sprite squared, he has to explain it. So.
Yep. Just because of that one tiny neck collar he drew on Jasper Sprite squared. He has to explain the entire thing.
He could have just said it was the princess's outfit mixed with the god tier outfit, but no, he had to put the collar on that's only seen on Durst outfits, and the little moon that's only on Durst outfits.
Isn't the moon on the princess now?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, I thought it was.
That's just a random doll the mom bought.
Oh, okay.
Rose made it special by making it Cthulhu.
Okay.
Or Fluthlu.
But, like, there's so many points where Hussey could just, like, you can end an arc, and there's an arc you haven't mentioned in so long, you don't have to bring it up again, Hussey. You can really just in the comic. Then Hussey just, like, I'm gonna bring it up again. Let's bring up Wizard Hobo. Let's bring back Doomed Rose from Act 3, Act 4. Act 4, actually. Like, it's just like when he brought up Wizardy Hobart again. He's just bringing up more things he has to wrap up now.
Calmasis, man.
Yeah.
Now, Calmasis still looks like AH. That's still something I have to bring up.
Yeah.
Alpha Rose is still messed up. She had buckets and knew about Caliborn and Calliope and wrote about wizards and Calmasis and the swapping
I don't
chess
understand.
thing.
Was Kanaya with her?
We don't know.
I mean, it's implied.
It's implied they Kankri style kept their memories.
Yeah.
Sunflower style, but we don't know.
Why isn't that bit important again?
And then if they kept their memories, then how does that work soul-wise? Whose soul is that? Is there some conscious Rose that was blowing up the tumor and then suddenly woke up as a baby in the Alphaverse and was like, well, I guess we messed up somewhere. While the other Rose woke up a god to herself and the sun saying, yep, we did it, we lived.
Oh my god. This is mind-blowing.
Kankri went to Dream Bubbles and got reset to Alternia.
There's two.
There's two.
He got split.
His consciousness was split. One of them believed we did it, we're in the Dream Bubbles. One of them woke up in Alternia with a Dolorosa.
When is that signless memory thing going to be important?
I don't know. It's. I assumed it was mutant Lineblood powers, but if the kids did it too, then I don't know.
If it was mutant Lineblood powers, then this Carcat would have remembered the other time.
It might be mutant Lineblood powers, and because Carcat touched the door and humans are genetic offspring of Carcat himself, everyone has the memory power.
Okay.
But that wouldn't make sense. That'd be, I guess you could say only Suburb players, but then you have even like the GameFAQs kids that played Suburb. Then they should have kept their memories too, and Fedora Freak should have kept his memories, but he didn't. He was just Fedora Liker in the other universe. Why did only the 4 kids we know keep their memories?
Dave collected all the Jujus, man. Yeah. He knew everything.
And only the Durst ones are confirmed. Grandma and Pop-Up might have done it by chance by being raised by the Condis.
Yeah.
They might have actually remembered anything.
What's Grandma's deal, man?
She knew about Lord English. That's the only thing she knew about that she shouldn't.
Oh, it just says her death was Jake walked one night and then she was on the floor with a trident.
Yeah, she was in the session still in the 4th wall, just like Grandpa.
But we haven't seen her actually run around and do stuff like Grandpa did.
No.
When's he gonna sew up?
It's too late now. The 4th wall was gone. Droog didn't have it. She'd already been there.
So we're never gonna see it?
Probably not. She probably already did it.
You really don't think she'll be important anyway?
I don't know.
What about Grandpa Holly? What was he doing last?
Grandpa Holly?
We never saw him actually die.
At some point before Cascade, he went back. I don't remember the exact second he did, but he did.
How does he stuff his own dead body? How does he stuff his own dead body? For the Holly household.
He did that. No, he didn't die until he died on the island. So I assume Jade did it.
Okay. Watch, we're gonna get a crazy flash where Beck takes it and whoops it to Kanaya, and it's Kanaya who does it. Kanaya stuffs him.
Kanaya's the taxidermist who's been stuffing all these Crocker Berts.
It's a payoff to when he fixed the little cow by stuffing him. No?
Oh boy.
So what? Tomorrow's update, we got one more, right?
No. Until Sunday night.
Oh. See, you took a weekend break. You just know we're not going to return to Doomed Calliope. Just like that. Just from that break. Where are we going to cut to? Battle setup, like you said?
I'm assuming Karkat and Kanaya, because then it keeps Echidna's lair as the location.
Okay.
It'll cut back to Jade, except she won't be a Troll Sona. She'll be a sleeping Jade. You'll be like, did I miss something? And then Karkat and Kanaya walk up. They're like, oh, we're in the regular session now. The same location. That's why it switched over for anyone confused. The reason they're in Echidna's lair now is because Jade's physical body is now in Echidna's lair.
Yeah.
Karkat and Kanaya just showed up there. So Jade is reacting to where she actually is.
I don't know how we do a Karkat and Kanaya scene, though, because we can't have the denizen talking to them in comic dialogue. That doesn't happen in Homestuck.
No, he's found a way around it every other single time.
Yeah.
And denizens can show up in panels.
Yeah. So how do we get dialogue?
It's possible that Alt Calliope is Echidna.
Oh.
Because cherubs turn into snakes. Giant cherubs. We happen to have a species that turn into giant 50-foot snakes, and we happen to have giant 50-foot snakes that we don't know the species of. So it seems it's not too far of a leap to assume that all denizens are just cherubs, or at least involved in the creation of cherubs later. It's the opposite.
Okay. So what's gonna happen? Kaya's gonna go in there and they're gonna be like, well, this is a frog. And while Jade's sleeping, he's having an entirely different denizen talk. Those two going on at once.
Karkat's gonna talk with Echidna parallel with Jade talking to alternate Calliope.
Okay.
Karkat is gonna get the frog, and Calliope is gonna say, Jade, when you wake up, you need to take the frog here.
Okay.
And then they'll take the frog here, set it down in this random spot on the ground, and it purifies away.
By who?
We don't know yet. I say AH because the meter stick was on the machine.
Yeah.
It's all we know is that an unknown source purified the frog to young Jade at that exact moment, and that when WV showed up in his second room, the computer was already set to those exact location and coordinates. And the meter stick was there. And that's all we have to go on. And someone had been in the... Either it spawned like that because video game logic, or someone was in the first WV room to drop off the cans and the book and the uranium and stuff.
And this is happening at the same time that Beck fights in and we get the whole WV finale.
Yeah.
This is happening at the same time that Jake faces Spade Slick, that Dave and Dork face Lord Jack, and at the very same time that there's a Colonel Sprite that's going to get spited.
Yep.
It's a lot happening. What was Trezzy doing again? What's Trezzy doing in the plan?
She's going after the Condis.
Okay.
Because she can't be mind controlled. Well, she can. She has been before, so I don't know why she's doing it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Oh boy, I guess we'll have to just wait and see for the next update. I think that's...
we're wrapping up here.
Yeah.
We're reaching our mark.
But I want to hear more about the bubbles and the corpses and whether they go on.
Stop making sense.
Oh, they spiral out of control, don't they? You didn't even get to hive swap with a new character. Did you?
What new character?
Didn't you? There was a new species?
In Homestuck.
Not hive
Jasper Rose
swap.
Sprite Squared.
Jasper Rose Sprite Squared. Well, what was I thinking? All right, well, there you go, folks. Another full hour-plus Homestuck goodness episode of 91 Reasons. We want to thank Vriska for supporting the show with a pledge on Patreon. You can support the show yourself by going to patreon.com, search 91 Reasons. You can check it out. You can pledge $1 if you want. It doesn't matter. It's all good to us. We love all of our pledgers. What's wrong?
Nothing.
No,
nothing.
something. They're making terrible faces at me. Thanks for tuning in. Plug, right? Plug.
You got a list of plugs somewhere?
Yeah, there is a Homestuck meetup coming up at the end of June here in California, right, Austin?
Yeah, it's sort of a small meetup I've been invited to.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it after and get some interviews or something, so... Hope you're enjoying your Homestuck fandom around the world. Wear your horns proudly. Wear your shirts. Don't let anybody tell you you don't have a right to like the things that you like and to be into the things that you are into. We support you 100%. We are telling you that you are not alone out there. So many Homestuck kids, fans, feel like nobody understands and nobody gets what they like. Well, we're here to tell you that somebody does. 91 Reasons does. So tell your friends about us. If they say, I don't know what Homestuck is, say, you know what? There's a couple of weirdos in California that can tell you, and they will tell you, right? And you'll notice that some of the episodes have disappeared from our iTunes feed simply because of space. They're all available right now on YouTube. You can listen to them indefinitely on YouTube. Podbay archives them? Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. Podbay archives. Who knew? So... There's always a way to get them, so thanks again for supporting the show. I am the voice of 91 Reasons. Hey, if you're a Homestuck listener, try out some of the other episodes. Usually I do 80s flashback nostalgia episodes, which I get you would have no bearing or understanding, or why would I want to listen to a review of a movie I've never seen. But I just did a review today of the brand new Disney film Tomorrowland. And if you want to hear a grown man spend nearly an hour trashing a children's movie, this is the episode for you. Spoiler alert, I trash it. Spoiler alert, I give away its ending. It's terrible. I will save you $9 if you listen to me. That's the previous episode. I am the voice of 91 Reasons. I am Jeff Tucker. I am joined, as always, by our resident Homestuck experts,
Austin.
Luna.
and together we are 91 Reasons.
Thanks for listening to 91 Reasons. Please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. Find us on Facebook. Is anyone even still listening?
Good night, future boy!